ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is a review for WWE SmackDown. And this is for 4/16/19, the Superstar Shakeup, the second part of the shakeup. And Raw, you had some cool surprises. It just wasn't a great show, though. You had some good matches, but overall, put together for the 3 hours, it didn't flow for me. So I was hoping that SmackDown would be a little bit better, that maybe they'd be able to keep it consistently entertaining with a 2-hour show. Let's see how they did. You start out with the Kevin Owens show, and Kevin Owens brings out the New Day. And Big E is apparently out with an injury, so it was only Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And of course, KO, they're in Canada. He's playing up to the Canadian crowd, so is Kofi. And the whole idea here, the shtick was they were making Kevin Owens an honorary member of the New Day to fill in for Big E. You had on the Titantron, or actually just on a monitor in the back, you had Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Rusev watching for some reason, because apparently they have a match later. And so that kind of sets up a 6-man tag match. After that, you get Finn Balor as the first guy coming over from Raw. I think it's a good choice. I like Finn Balor. He's one of those guys, it's weird because sometimes I can find his matches very entertaining, and then sometimes a little bit on the dull side. I guess it just depends. So he comes out, he faces Mustafa Ali, and it was a pretty good match. I mean, these guys are both very athletic, and they really can keep the pace. So it was a decent match to kick it off. Finn Balor, of course, wins, and it seems like everybody they bring over automatically starts with a W. Backstage, you get a New Day Big O bit. That's what they're calling Kevin Owens. Instead of Big E, it's Big O. Nice play on words there. Where his initiation is he's got to eat like a plate of pancakes in under 5 minutes. That whole thing. So it was alright. Then you get Carmella and R-Truth. They come out, they're kind of doing their thing. And apparently through the whole commercial break, because they come back from commercial, they're still dancing, and then his Charlotte's music hit. Charlotte versus Carmella. It was alright. Carmella, I think at this point, sometimes her matches can be decent, and other times they're just not that great. This was a decent match. Nothing extravagant, nothing extraordinary about it, for sure. But it wasn't a complete terrible match, so I'll give her that much. At the end of the day, Charlotte puts her in the figure 8, gets the win. Lars Sullivan comes out, beats the crap out of R-Truth, kind of turns his attention to Carmella, who's hurt in the corner. She gets pulled out of the ring by an official, and he goes back to R-Truth. And so that was that bit. And apparently Lars Sullivan is officially on SmackDown now. They had that on the screen at one point. They were showing all the people that are officially on the roster. Lars Sullivan was one of those people. So then you get kind of a really bad segment here. And it starts with Becky Lynch. She gets interrupted by Ember Moon from Raw, now on SmackDown. So that was cool. Ember Moon saying, of course, she's going to be trying to make a name for herself at Becky Lynch's expense. Then in comes Bayley from Raw. Then comes the Iconics, who had just been transitioned to Raw yesterday. And now they're transitioning back to SmackDown today. That's stupid. That was just fucking dumb. When I saw that, I was like, first of all, nobody cares enough about the Iconics to care what show they're on. And so you're trying to play this trick with the fans with somebody they don't care about. So it was really stupid. It was just dumb. Paige interrupts, says she's got this team that she'd been talking about from last week. Out comes Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville thinking it's them. Of course it's not. The team turns out to be Asuka who's already there, and Kairi Sane. So apparently they're pairing those two up. And so there's a match that is Asuka, Kairi Sane, Ember Moon, and Bayley versus Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce. And Billie Kay and Peyton Royce were horrible in this match, both of them. They were stiff, they could not move, overselling like a motherfucker at times. Like Peyton Royce, there was a point during the commercial where they had the split screen, and you saw her get dropped and just like flop and fly across the ring. It was just so stupid looking. I'm still pissed off that they took the belts off Sasha Banks and Bayley and gave them to these two goofs. They're horrible. And before the match started, of course, you have this Iconics promo that is just ear bleeding and terrible. So, but at the end of the day, Asuka and Kairi Sane kind of get the jump on the Iconics, and I want to say it was Billie Kay. Maybe it was Peyton Royce. I don't know. I don't really care. I hate the Iconics. Kairi Sane hits the insane elbow, and they get the win. Then you get New Day with Kevin Owens versus Rusev, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Not a bad match. I mean, it was there. I don't know that there was anything really great or really bad about it. It was there. It was very middle of the road. They got, I don't even remember who it was, but he got like super kicked, and then KO does the stunner. Oh, it was Rusev. Rusev gets the stunner. And you want to talk about not being able to sell something? Like, Kevin Owens hits a stunner on Rusev, and he does this weird flop, like does a flip over Kevin Owens. It was weird. So yeah, KO gets the pin on Rusev. New Day win. And then you get Vince McMahon comes out to close the show saying he's got this guy who was supposed to be the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history. Well, first of all, there's nobody big enough on that roster right now to be the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history. Sorry. He pulls out Elias, so obviously this is going to be a troll move. Elias comes out, kind of starts doing his shtick. Roman Reigns music hits, and this is supposed to be the biggest acquisition, apparently. So Roman Reigns is officially on SmackDown. And so that looks like they are definitely disbanding the band. Dean Ambrose, I guess he's completely gone now. Seth Rollins on Raw. Roman Reigns on SmackDown. So that's kind of a big one, I would say. So Roman Reigns, I mean, it was a big deal, I think, him coming over to SmackDown. That's definitely a big change up. AJ Styles on Raw, Roman Reigns on SmackDown. He comes out, goes straight after Elias, hits him with a Superman punch. Vince McMahon gets in the way, starts talking. He Superman punches Vince McMahon. Says, it doesn't matter what this guy says, this is my yard now. Walks out, comes back to the ring to spear Elias. I mean, it was a good setup. I liked it. I don't know where they're gonna go with the whole, like, if they're not gonna use Vince McMahon. I think it's all irrelevant, but it was kind of a good setup, I think, for Roman Reigns. So this show, like most shows with WWE nowadays, is really got me torn because they did a few things good and a few things just terribly. And that's kind of the WWE MO lately. Like, they are incapable of putting on a genuinely great show nowadays. And I don't know why. The whole Kevin Owens thing, it was alright. It didn't do much for me. The pancake eating thing, I could have done without. The entire women's division snafu, I could have done without. Introduce the women, put them in a match or something, fine, but it was just poorly done. And the Iconics make my ears bleed. So, Finn Balor, Mustafa Ali, I really liked. I mean, I thought that was a good way to start it out. Our Carmella, Charlotte, I don't know if that did anything for me, to be honest. So I think it was pretty weak for the Superstar shakeup again. And so I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 again. I think Raw and SmackDown were about the same. They had some stuff done right. They had some stuff done really wrong. 4 out of 10. They really need to put more effort into putting these shows together and fucking figure out a way to make it entertaining, because they're really not that entertaining anymore. And that's just kind of how I feel. So ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm at. 4 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Kaged Nation, out.